legal advice from the Attorney General, every single scrap of document, memo that he'd produced for the Prime Minister. And famously, when we submitted our request, I think it was like within 24 hours turnaround, they dropped the charges against me.
It's interesting because by your own admission, you had done what you were accused of doing.
Absolutely.
What was the nature of your defence, I guess, seeing as you were admitting your guilt?
I pleaded not guilty, and we were going to try and use the defence of necessity, which has not yet been tested in court. Basically, it's a defence that says I'm trying to prevent immediate harm to others by breaking the law.
I guess the government might argue that in an increasingly dangerous world, and also a world when global politics can get very murky indeed, it's all the more important that the government can act sometimes knowing confidently that the information's not going to leak, because there may be a bigger backstory to this than people might understand, and that the responsible thing to do is to hold the line and to maintain those confidences. What would you say to that?
Well, of course, in the main, that is what goes on. I mean, the shocking thing is that out of over 100 people that saw that email, I was the only person that responded to it, I think. In the main, 99.999% of cases, people do hold the line. It's extraordinarily rare, although I say this about myself, and some people might think I'm patting myself on the back, but it's extraordinarily rare for people to actually break the line.
It's interesting. I mean, it makes me wonder, what is it about you that makes you the 1 out of 100 people who did break the line? Do you see that as an opportunity for you to kind of make a stand about something? Were you ever sort of tempted to a kind of heroic mode about this?
No, I mean, what can I say, really? I guess my instinct at the time when I saw the email was that war was on the agenda, and all I could think about were the millions of Iraqi civilians who'd gone through 10 years of sanctions and were dirt poor and really struggling to make ends meet, as it was. And then this enormous American military machine was just going to drop tons of bombs on them. And I thought, well, how does that make any sense? So,
did you think that you would be able, through your actions, to stall or even to halt that vast American military machine?
I genuinely hoped that I could, yeah.
And what about you, Katharine? There you are at the end of all this, your career in ruins. What do you do with yourself?
It's a good question, and it's a question I still ask myself. I've been trying to make ends meet. You know, my husband works, but it's difficult financially for us. I've been teaching Chinese up until now, but last summer I had a baby girl, so I'm currently on maternity leave at home looking after my daughter.
And do you have any regrets?
No, not about what I did, no.
Would you do it again if you were in a position to?
Yes.
No hesitation?
No.
And what do you think it's cost you, Katharine?
My job. That's it, basically. Nothing else, really. I mean, you can build your life up again afterwards.
And what do you make of other whistleblowers blowing whistles on their organisations? I suppose recently some of the revelations we've had from the financial sector. Do you feel a sort of sense of solidarity with others who are going through what you went through?
Yes, because it's a tremendously rare thing. I mean, most people don't want to stick their necks out. They're put in positions where they feel obligated to stick their necks out. And I think, well, I hope that we can legislate, because I think in, you know, individual cases it's easy to figure out whether it's a genuine whistleblowing case or someone who's just trying to muddy waters.
Isn't there a difficulty, though, that in order to make secure judgments about these things, you need to have as full information as you can possibly have, and sometimes someone working at your level in an organisation might not have that, and that's one reason why perhaps people should think twice before blowing a whistle.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, but I think in my case it was kind of crystal clear. I mean, there was a very obvious request about a very obvious thing.